now. I'm having a good time, but I'm going to shut up because you hit live. You did hit live, so this will go in the end credit freebie. This is a freebie for you guys. You should be Patreoning us for all of this entertainment goodness.
Well, if I actually put any content on it, then
you're welcome. What? I put content. Here's the thing. Computers, they're great. Sponsored by computers. Okay. AMD Ryzen 5 2600X running this podcast right now. I was going to do a spin, but I can't because this cord's pretty short. I would have loved to have done a 360 in the chair, but it didn't work. It wasn't going to work, and I knew it, but I didn't. And I wasn't going to do it like as a joke and have it really fuck these headphones up. They wouldn't. They're, what brand are they? V-Moda. They're military grade. You can stress these 100 times, guys. 100 times like that, and it works. V-Moda, not a sponsor of the podcast, but they could be. AMD, you could be a sponsor. Not a sponsor, but Ryzen processors. They do this. NVIDIA GeForce or GTX 1070. Look at what it's doing for you now. You're welcome, Internet. This all goes at the end. John is cutting all of this out. And I'm just having fun fucking with him. Because I could be weighing coffee right now that his ass and his podcast is making me roast. But instead, I'm running a game also, and I don't even get a thanks for it. I do get thanks. I appreciate.
You hurt me right in my heart.
I appreciate the thanks. I know you appreciate it. I appreciate you guys playing. So let's get this game going because I'm too excited because these are actually my favorite episodes, which is you have absolutely nothing planned and you're getting to choose what you do, so it's all wide open. That's my favorite episode. That I love it. That is my absolute most fun I have, is watching you guys decide what of the crazy ass paths you want to pursue mission wise. So I always have fun, so I'm a little too excited.
Unless it's Fear itself, because then it's like almost an entire episode.
That's the weird thing. Fear, I've never given you like you get missions. I've never given you like you're just out there and have like 8 things you could do. So maybe I'll do that next time. Maybe that next mission it'll be a little more open-ended.
That will be horrible.
I don't know how it'll go, yeah. Because at least this group, like, pretty reasonably chooses a path and then pursues said path. There's a lot less planning, considering the significantly more complicated nature of what you guys are doing in this world. You don't really have to plan as much. You're like, okay, we do this, we do this, we do this, we win. And then, like, Fear itself, it's like, oh, for Christ's sake. Okay, we open the door, then we yell. No. We yell, then we open the door. And you're like, no. And you have a fucking 40-minute conversation about who turns the doorknob, the speed at which you turn it.
It's super high stakes.
It is high stakes because you could very well die much more easily than in this game. In this game, I mean, you could always burn a fate point to not die at all, no matter how bad. But you're also like super badasses, right? So like you're not just like dudes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Or like all your fate points.
17 sessions in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
0 fate points left.
Can you buy fate points?
At some point, I might have to come up with some mechanic to like give you a 1 back, because it's kind of shitty to have literally 0. I mean, I love it in that you've like used all of the Emperor's goodwill. I kind of like that aspect, but I also feel like maybe you should have at least one. I don't know. We'll see if you do something super cool and heroic for the Emperor. Maybe he'll bless you.
Do I want to burn my rogue trader alive? And
Hey, whoa. Same
Okay.
team.
I will 100% say if you fucking just burn him alive, like if you're just like, you know what? He is fucking evil incarnate and I can't accept this and just burn him alive, you definitely get a fate point back. That's ballsy.
Of course, the game's over at that point.
I took Rogue Trader can't, so we're good to go. So,
well, you did one more than our rogue trader then.
I have Rogue Trader can't now. I just don't have the common lore or the cipher.
The can't is, that's enough. But yeah, is it over? Because technically,
I'm the captain now.
If they can get that writ, it doesn't matter what it says.
Don't burn the writ.
Like possession is 9/10 of the law when writs are concerned. So as someone grabs it, they're kind of the captain now. So,
all right. So note to self: don't burn the writ.
Oh yeah, if you burn that, you've burnt like essentially infinite wealth. Infinite influence, infinite power, because that gives you essentially, the ability to do anything you want.
All right, now I need to figure out how to convince him to put his writ in the servo skull to protect it.
I don't know where. I actually don't know where Venari keeps the writ.
It's like the dentist. He has it up on the wall.
It
like
could be anywhere. He could have it in a safe. He could keep it on him. It could be on a fucking it. I mean, I doubt it would be on Earth. That would be very far away. And your dynasty was not particularly that favored at the time. Mm-hmm. So saying that you were having you be on Earth would be a little much, but it could be in any number of places that you would have stashed it. It doesn't have to be with you. Of course, it could also be with you. And if it's
get him
not
drunk and find out.
I was recalling a conversation that we had a while ago, and he gave it to Jarnan to hold on to just in case, because he figured Jarnan was the most honorable one.
That doesn't sound like Venari at all.
Yeah, that sounds right.
He was pretty drunk at the time.
That sounds like Venari.
I'm not sure that's canon. I don't remember that happening. So.
A flame cannon. That sounds fun.
So yeah, that at some point probably offline, I will have to get from John, where is
now
the
he knows
writ?
Yeah, now he knows where to put it because he said
in his servo
it's on Earth.
Well, I'm just saying, every captain has to have
it's in a fire safe.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, he has it, and I don't remember the brand.
He wouldn't be worried about you burning it, right? Because then it's no good to anybody.
Yeah, it's in an asbestos-lined tube that he carries on his body at all times.
No, the play is to wear it like a backstage pass, so you can burn it.
Yeah, because then if you burn him, you burn it. Sorry. Or but then someone could just yoink it, Simpson style. Wink. And then you're like, oh no!
Then Yakety Sax starts playing.
Yeah. The whole thing, man. You get a whole episode out of that. Highest rated episode, guaranteed.
Scooby-Doo running in and out of doors, chasing them down.
Yeah, it'd be great. Let's have a whole episode of that. So yeah, I don't know where the writ is, but writs are notoriously secretively hidden and protected and then handed down. But as I understand it, at least, the physical writ of trade is like the law. So regardless of like whose name is on it, if you're like, I've got a writ of trade, and you show it to someone, they're like, well, I guess you get out of jail free. Like, it's like a get out of jail free. Your name's not on it, but fuck, you've got it. Like, I gotta let you do what you do. So you're essentially a rogue trader as long as either you have a writ or the person that told you to do it has a writ and they can show it.
John is a lich. It's like his phylactery then. It's hidden somewhere. But you have to find it.
Yeah.
So totally, when when Jesse joins us, we should totally burn Venari to the ground and then just like pick up the writ and be like, all right, now we're going to do some serious shit.
John, how do you feel about this?
I feel personally attacked right now.
Act of mutiny being planned.
We need a new WhatsApp. Bessie, we need a new WhatsApp group.
Really, really hostile and pretty aggressive towards someone that that's actively listening to your plan.
Well, it's character knowledge and player knowledge, so I guess Venari doesn't know anything.
Yeah, I feel like he doesn't have any idea. You guys are gonna fucking burn him to ashes.
John's gonna turn the server off in the morning. He's just gonna go push the button. Screw these guys.
Shit. So it's like 10 minutes and we got to cut to the end of the fucking episode. So should we like start this thing or
what's happening?
There's been no intro. There's no
what's
recap.
happening? Control the episode.
All
Look,
right, come on.
If this were unrest, we would have already.
We got to cut. We know that's a whole other thing.
I know. It's a secret.
It's a secret.
Hey guys. Secret exclusive.
You're like my Ian now. Now I know what you went through all those years.
Yeah, right? See what I had to deal with? Anyway, you guys don't know what that is, but wink. Wait for it. It's going to be great.
All right. I need to wrest back control of the episode.
Yeah, let's do a thing. I'm sorry. I've been remiss.
All right. Here we go. So welcome to the Legends of Tabletop podcast. We're going to be playing some Rogue Trader tonight. Maybe if the last half an hour is any indication, that might not actually be the case, but I guess we're going to see how this rolls here. I'll give you a recap from the last episode. We had left both Jarnan and Kynnoch at the cave after destroying the warp demon. Emmaus and Venari went back to talk to Roderick, let him know that the demon was killed, that they figured out what was going on. Venari proposed a festival in honor of the planet being reincorporated back into the Imperium, to which he agreed. Kynnoch wandered away while we were gone, back down into the cave complex, picked up some more corruption. I don't remember all of what happened because I wasn't there, so whatever. But eventually we picked them back up again. I think Venari told Jarnan everything that had happened while they were gone, that they talked to Roderick, yada yada. Venari told Emmaus about the goo, and that they would potentially be discussing things with Oros to see whether or not they could figure out some connections to sell some of that stuff. I think Jarnan was interested in investigating the temple cult a little bit further in the interim before the festival took off. I think that's pretty much it. I didn't re-listen to the episode, so go listen to episode 16.
Wow, that's inspires much confidence.
We play once a month. It's tough sometimes to keep updated.
Yeah, it'll work. The only thing I think you left out is that you did suggest that Adalar,
yes,
the acolyte be promoted to Harvest Master because you believe that he's trustworthy enough for that. And the other brother, Roderick, agreed, as far as I remember, as saying that is he believes a good choice for Harvest Master. So ostensibly, Adelar during the reintegration festival will be named Harvest Master.
I thought he said he was going to take it under advisement. You know, he was going to do his own, whatever.
Yeah, by that he means like, yeah, great suggestion. And he's like, I have a great idea. Why doesn't this guy do it? Right. So he took the suggestion. Adelar is deemed Harvest Master because of his assistance with your mission and reintegrating the planet of Ballantine with the Empire and ridding the colony, the grain stocks, although I guess not public knowledge, but in being open to the idea that the grain stocks may be contaminated, he obviously was instrumental in helping get rid of the old. Well, you guys are taking the contaminated, tainted grain with you. And so now he is charged with keeping a watchful eye over the harvest and making sure, obviously, that no further harvest be contaminated, but also now that theoretically the warp storm is cleared, they won't have to wait and have their tribute lay fallow for so long. Although there are other consequences of that, as such, at least while the storm was going, there were no black ships able to make it to the planet. But planet also seems to have no psychers, so
weird.
A strange phenomenon, to be sure. But so is the fickle nature of the warp.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to leave anyone from our crew on the planet when we go? I mean, I don't think there's anything. We did our mission. We reopened communications, got the tribute and all that kind of stuff. The planet has people in charge running it, so it's not like we have to leave anybody behind to make sure everything keeps running, right? Not any of Kane's guys or anything like that.
No, of course not, Emmaus. I mean, they have their own structures in place. We, as you said, have completed our mission most admirably. Jarnan, in fact, did get to burn heretics and demons as well, so I'm sure he's quite pleased, and I'm sure the not the administratum, the ecclesiarchy will be quite happy with his report.
Do we want to leave anyone behind to be a liaison with Roderick, or just to make sure he stays on our side, or we keep communications open, or are we just leaving saying, okay, we've done what we needed to do, anything we're going to do after here, we don't need to kind of touch back with Roderick or anyone on the planet itself?
I mean, it's nice to have good communication to someone with the amount of power that he brings with his station, but I don't believe that we're required to do anything more than be friendly.
Okay. Like, we're not going to leave like an ambassador or anything specifically for Heretic's Bane. It's more an Imperium thing. We're not trying to do something on the side then.
Well, in a sense, we have Adelar's shining beacon of faith under Jarnan's tutelage will be a reminder of our time spent here on Valentine.
Actually, I didn't think about that. Yeah, so we do have that connection with Jarnan and the new Harvest Master. So
Just Jarnan's just shaking his head. He doesn't say anything.
Yeah, no, he's just sitting there, just kind of shaking his head, like, "Yep, I did that." And in the back of his mind, he's thinking, "In that shard priestess's body, that sends a pretty good message too."
That is true. That is true. Are we gonna like fast forward through like festival and all that kind of stuff?
Yes. Yes. You are most certainly going, like, everyone celebrates. It's a week-long celebration. Obviously, everyone is rested. There's no, like violence or aggression. You don't have any stresses. And you basically party it up.
I do. Hell yeah.
And so here's the question. The other two, I would assume, even if you're like doing whatever with ladies or gentlemen, whatever your proclivities may be, I would assume it means sort of less. The question is, how much contact does Venari have with Lavinia? Is it like you're kind of, there's wild oats all over the place? Or are you really like,
I mean, it's not
courting
24/7,
her?
right? Nah, I mean, it's it's a like they're not planning on coming back here, so I mean, it's a fling, right? So like she has work to do. And
But is it
whatever,
like a fling, but you're only seeing her that week?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
My question is, are you like seeing her only and spending time with her during the festival celebration? Or are you also kind of like, oh, and then whoa, that really super hot lady's into me, I'm gonna go talk to her too, like, and Lavinia's not around, so because we're with our crew or whatever, and like the question is, yeah, are you sort of spreading the love around, or are you like staying more? I'm not saying loyal to her, like you're going to be back per se, let's get married. But like you could also be like, well, while I'm here, I'm going to, really woo her, blah blah blah. So
did you swipe left or swipe right?
You're right.
That's the question.
I assume no matter what, you'd be seeing her. The question is are you seeing other people also, or is it like you're with her most of the time?
I think he would. He would definitely be interested in widening the circle, but I think he would stay focused on her just for the fact that she's tied into Roderick, at least in some sense. So he doesn't want to like fuck something up where like if he's off fooling around with somebody else and then it gets back to her, that it somehow poisons that whole well, especially with the things going on with Egon. Like he wants to play it fairly close to the vest.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
He would. I mean, he would. Come back around and talk to Egon at some point during the week. He would want to talk to Roderick and find out, what he found in his investigation. Not like, I want you to like tell me what's happening because they're going to leave. It doesn't matter. But just more in a sense of like, as peers to be like, okay, this is what we did, blah, blah, blah. Did you find anything? Is there anything that we need to do? Whatever. Because Jarnan was going to look into it. Or I don't remember if Roderick had offered or if Venari offered Jarnan Services, and then said, hey, you know, Roderick was like, if you want to check it out, that's cool. You can go check stuff out. Because I think he was going to interrogate some people, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean, he was supposed to essentially help weed out dissidents from the Harvest Cult. I would actually like you to make... Ooh, it's going to be inquiry. I don't know if you have it or not, but that would be the actual skill.
Is this for Bessie?
Yes.
I do have it.
So you would be making an inquiry check. I would say I'll give you a +10 because of your interactions with everyone in the cult, and you have a sort of more keen perception of traitors per se. So let's see how well you do it at weeding out the baddies.
I got a 5 out of 60.
Yeah, you're good.
He finds everybody.
I did really good at weeding people out. You know what?
He did so good he blames me too. So now I've been
it's because of the priestess's charred remains. People are like, don't kill me. I'm bad.
I'm gonna say you are like I have to give you you may argue with it, but you can't because I'm in charge. I'm gonna give you a fate point back for that. Like, you do have a permanent fate point. But also plot wise, you literally are at the level of like a Grand Inquisitor at your proficiency in sussing out heresy and those who do or do not actually follow the faith of the Emperor and those who have been tainted to such a degree that you are certain that the Harvest Cult, quote unquote, and in this case, not using it as a bad word, the Harvest Cult is pure. And and to you, at least, you are 100% certain as an acolyte of the ecclesiarchy and the God Emperor's word that you have cleansed every single impure soul from the Harvest Cult, such that you believe the Emperor has bestowed upon you a blessing.
A, awesome. B, how many people are actually left in the cult now that I've cleansed all the bad ones?
You took literally about half of them. So there was about, let's say, 500 acolytes that were active and responsible for the crops. And I would say a little less than half, but pretty much half, you determined were impure enough to be sacrificed for the God Emperor's good. And to the God Emperor, 100% accurate. You were 100% right. They were wrong. They needed to be cleansed. And now you have a pure population. You have a pure harvest cult securing and growing and procuring grain for the God Emperor's good. And so you have done a great service to the Empire.
I want now, Kobar with me the entire time.
You want what?
I want Kobar with me the entire time I'm interrogating people and like burning people, so that he understands the stakes of being the new High Buffalo.
Oh, Adelar?
Adelar? thought his name
Yes,
was Kovar.
No, it's Adelar.
Adelar?
The new Harvest Master?
Yeah, Adelar.
He is understandably reticent at the beginning, as maybe not many, but at least enough of the acolytes he believes are good people, but you are 100% certain are tainted. And in a metagaming sense, are tainted enough for you to know that they are corruptible or corrupted to a point.
Same.
Yeah. So you know in your heart that they have been corrupted. And you actually press upon him some of your insights so that he doesn't dismiss some of maybe the finer points or the less obvious signs of corruption or heresy, making him, in your opinion, an even stronger a harvest master who should be able to maintain a perfectly cleansed and very efficient harvest cult to generate grains and foodstuffs for, obviously, the good work of the Emperor spreading his light across the galaxy.
I like it. That should prevent any wrongdoings in the future then.
He does seem significantly more hardened at the end than at the beginning. At the beginning, he seemed like, yeah, maybe he could be persuadable. But now he's definitely taken on more of Jarnan's temperament, yeah, and much more willing to punish heresy or preach against heresies to the Empire.
Good. That was my goal.
Achieved.
And I think I'll leave it with and if I have to come back here, God Emperor help all of you.
He bows very deeply. It will never be necessary, sir. I promise I will uphold all of your tenets, and I will do so without fail.
Good. That's what I like to hear. And that's what the God Emperor likes to hear.
Praise be to the God Emperor.
Praise be to him indeed. Now go run your shit.
Yes, of course. And he runs off. A very interesting dynamic left on this planet, by the way.
Yeah. What's the interactions like between Roderick and Egon? I assume that Egon is forced to attend, even if he's not a willing participant in the festival.
Yes, yeah, he is there during the festival. He is obviously when Roderick's giving a speech or whatever, Egon's sitting in a chair beside him or whatever. It's kind of I don't want to say Prince Harry to
Prince William.
Thanks.
Sorry, that's in my area.
I know. If you didn't know it, I was like, uh-oh. Kevin's got to know this. Save me
deported.
Here. It's not quite that, but it's worse than that, obviously, where he's kind of like, I'm just here. He kind of stays off in the background a little bit. He does speak, like he gives a speech on, how, gracious he is for Venari and his crew to have reunited them with the Empire, and how the I lost my train of thought.
We'll clean it all up in post.
I wasn't ready for this. God, clean this up in post. Yeah. Edit this. Yeah. So he's basically says that he's, he supports, like, joining with the Empire again. The warp storm has finally cleared. Now they can be part of the Emperor's blessing. We can finally give our tithe to the Imperium as we were born to do. Blah blah blah. He doesn't put a lot of feeling into it. During the celebration, he certainly celebrates a lot. He's not, like, pissed off at the celebration in general. He's sort of status quo. You get the feeling, at least for the moment.
Okay. At some point while he's drinking, obviously Venari's drinking, and he tries to schmooze him a little bit because their last meeting didn't go fantastically. I'm sure he probably talked to him after they came back, like, hey, we handled your shit, whatever. But he drops into a trader's cant as he's speaking to see if he responds in kind, because he's trying to suss out whether or not the dealing with the black goo is with another rogue trader. Like, he assumes so, but he's not sure. So he just wants to see whether or not there's any sort of tell there.
Give me a check on rogue traders can't, because they're different for each rogue trader, actually.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought. All right. Let's see. It's trained, and that's, what is that, int?
Yes,
yep.
I believe
oh,
so.
That's terrible. All right. Well, here goes nothing. Oh, I got a 40 out of 40.
Nice. Sorry, I want to double check that I'm not going to screw myself over by naming someone that is different.
You already named.
That I already named.
Well, maybe it's Sarvis Trask.
It's probably not.
I know, it's funny for me. Nobody else gets it except for Kevin.
Yes. You know that it is. You actually recognize that it's the trader. You start speaking in trader cant. The specific dialect that he speaks back, you happen to know from years ago, your experience with dealing with other traders in the Calixa sector, that Venrus Ryback has a very particular dialect that seems to be what Egon is using, and that you do know that it's at least possible that Venrus is operating somewhere in the area. in that he hasn't, he wasn't operating in major operations in the Calixa sector, and then once the warp storms cleared, you had heard that he was actually, he wasn't operating in the Calixa sector. He sort of disappeared. And so some people thought he was dead. Some people thought maybe he had gone rogue and was off trading or even living on Xenos worlds, but had disappeared long enough ago that he could possibly have been the trader dealing with Egon for quite some time. You don't know how that would happen with the warp storm as it was, but
okay,
that's what you get.
Well, how do you spell his last name?
Ryback.
Whatever. Not what I originally wrote down. So he would, so if, Venari had any tales that he could spin, from any dealings that he had with him, or, he watched him get the shit kicked out of him at a bar somewhere, just any sort of thing, sort of like pass the time that, kind of fits with his modality,
Okay. Sure. I mean, it's he kind of just deflects unless you directly ask him. You kind of get the impression it's kind of are we going to do business or not? Or are you going to at least not disrupt my business or not?
All right. Yeah. So he would drop into business. So like so he kind of sussed it out a little bit. He knows that he's dealing with a rogue trader. It could be this guy. Seems a little weird because of the warp storms and whatever. And then, I guess he's just like, based on our last discussion, I have no interest in disrupting whatever you have going on here. I feel like we could potentially make some sort of deal, but I don't want to be placed in the middle of, again, whatever your dealings are here. But there are thrones to be made, and of course I'm interested.
Well, look, I don't care to deal with those who aren't interested. I thought I'd potentially cut you in because, well, you could cause a problem for us. But if you have no desire, then trade continues. And if you're not going to stand in my way, then all the better. If you are, I'd prefer to offer you an incentive not to, rather than a disincentive not to. If you catch my drift.
Indeed. I have a couple of avenues to pursue. I would like to keep our lines of communication open, as it were.
Certainly. Well, let's just say, as far as I know, the supply is adequate for additional traders in the goods of which we've discussed. There's enough for others to benefit. Right now, obviously, I don't need more. My brother, he's going to run this colony, this planet, as long as he lives, and I won't be even lucky enough, most likely, for even a few years where I would be in a position to take over. That's not my goal. My goal now is to accumulate as much wealth and influence as possible. What I have access to is extremely valuable. If you would like to make a deal, I can cut you in. I don't believe it would cause any undue friction if you were to be involved. It may take a bit of persuasion to prove that you're able to handle the issues, obviously, that arise with such a product. But after such, I think you could certainly be a valuable partner in the venture. Otherwise, I'm happy if you move along, and of course, there's nothing to see here. It's Imperial planet, quite devout and loyal, and producing the goods of which the God Emperor has requested of us. And just so happens, outside of that, perhaps there are other resources the God Emperor does not obtain from this planet, which is to say, if you're not interested in direct dealings, your silence could certainly be worth some amount of property, some amount of goods. If you have a particular need, we could supply that, which could be quite valuable in some instances, particularly when you're dealing with not only rogue Imperial factions, but Xenos factions as well, that you could come across in your travels. The serum, as it were, seems to work across species, as far as I know.
Interesting.
I'm sure you know that it's not entirely human. Imperium in the trade and production, and he sort of motions to his pistol.
I suspected it was
not.
not.
Which is an Eldar pistol.
Yeah. I suspected it was not.
Without divulging too much, obviously, there is some manipulation with the material that needs to be done. Certain unsavory characters must be involved. But you may not need to deal with that at all. If you need small amounts, I'm happy to provide in order for my trade to continue.
Interesting. Well, as I say, let us keep open lines of communication.
Absolutely. Anytime, please. My astropath. I have a personal one. He gives you the astropath's name, essentially, and the ability to contact their particular choir.
Mm-hmm.
If you should need to discuss any opportunities, please let me know. I'm happy to discuss.
I look forward to it.
he goes along.
Before he leaves, can I speak to Venari? Because I'm assuming I'm just milling around and I can see them talking. Is there a way I can talk to him? Okay, so I'm gonna.
I mean, he kind of turns off and is talking with like this, like ludicrously fancy garbed woman who's like, Egon.
Can I speak? Yeah, can I speak to Venari? Not going up to speak to him. Can I speak to him remotely? So I'm off watching them while he's still standing.
Are
next
you
to Egon.
okay? If you're what?
Can I communicate to him directly, like through microbead or anything like that, or do I need to go up and actually speak to him?
You could microbead him, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just.
But to know what was happening, you would have to make a check.
No. I'm just for the fact that he's talking to Egon. So I'm just going to say, Captain, before Egon goes, can you ask him, depending on whatever you're discussing at the moment, if you would be able to get the Harvest Mother's writings that I tried to smuggle out when we first landed on the planet? So there was a whole bunch of stuff that the Harvest Mother, all her records and data slates. Can you just ask him if we can have access to those?
He steps away from where Egon is and, kind of pitches his voice low and says, I believe Roderick would probably be the one to talk to about those matters. What's your interest in that particular package of...
Obviously, there was something going on with the Harvest Mother, and I was just thinking if we had those data slates, it could point us to some better understanding of what had afflicted her or the planet itself, and just give us some more information, maybe not for our own benefit, but maybe to use later on down the line. Knowledge is power, so the most amount of knowledge we can get is probably good. And just as an aside, I kind of knew that Roderick was the one that kind of busted us, where he literally busted me trying to sneak them out. But I didn't know if Egon would be kind of a side way to maybe purloin those, not necessarily with, Roderick's knowledge, because I'm assuming Roderick's going to want to keep those under wraps if the Harvest Mother starts writing about her demon possession and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, like, out of character, I feel like Egon would probably be hands off of most of that stuff since he's got all of his own things going on.
Okay.
But he says to you, perhaps this is something that we should discuss with Jarnan first. He may be uncomfortable with documents such as those in the hands of people such as us.
Okay. That sounds good, Captain. We'll have to follow up and discuss whether we even broach that to our crewmate. It may be maybe not worth the stress that it causes.
Well, as you say, knowledge is power. There may be something that can be gleaned from her writings that the ecclesiarchy could put to good use.
Okay. And then as an aside, John, do you have a vial of the goo? Okay, you do. So just you.
Yeah, I have I think a small vial, a couple ounces worth.
Okay, so you just discussed it with me and showed it to me. You didn't actually give me any of it.
Mm-mm.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm done.
So just out of I don't could have you roll something, I guess. Am
I misremembering? Do I not have a vial?
No, you do. No.
Okay.
I'm saying more the like what's the equivalent of insight in Rogue Trader?
I would bet I don't have it, or if you're asking John to roll.
Yeah, that's where I'm trying to figure out, like, what is the...
Would it be a scrutiny? Maybe logic? I guess depends on how you want to...
Yeah, I would say logic. Logic or scrutiny would be good. Does Emmaus have either?
I have logic. So
I would allow logic to put together that Egon is clearly opportunistic and willing to circumvent the activities of his brother in order to make his own gains.
that's kind of
So,
why I was asking.
although Venari may see it one way, and if John, you want to roll, you can roll scrutiny or a logic as well.
Okay.
That Egon, if you wanted said writings, may be willing to bargain something for them, as his ethics are quite loose. And if you have a specific ask, it's whether he deals with that or not is one thing. Whether he has access or the ability to access those things is a completely different story, as he is technically pretty, like, as powerful as his brother. It's just his brother runs the show because he was sort of ordained that, whereas Egon then decided, well, if no one's watching what I'm doing and I'm above the law, I'll do whatever I want to become as rich as possible. So he is pliable in that way.
Okay. I'll roll logic because I have that at 10%.
Sure.
I failed the shit out of it. 80 out of 40.
You're still like pretty sure Roderick would be the one to talk to. You're like,
Yeah.
definitely Roderick. Egon wouldn't even he wouldn't have anything to do with it. But Emmaus is like, Venari says that, and you're like, sure, but
he's dodgy anyway. So.
Like, this guy seems pretty fucking dodgy. So I'll bet you we could get him. Like, I'll bet you we could get that if we wanted it.
Yeah.
Well,
now, that would either be up to you then to convince Venari to do it, or you could do it yourself. You are an officer of a rogue trader.
Yeah, I mean, like, Venari would throw back to him and be like, I don't want to be on the hook for something like that. Like, that doesn't get us anything. Like, I don't want that to be the favor that, he provides when there's, like, bigger prizes to be won.
So I'm going to write that down. So obviously that was just something I would think if Venari wanted to be involved in. Obviously, I didn't want us to get us on the hook if then Egon said, well, if I give you this, then you definitely have to go into business with me. But
he didn't say that. You don't actually know that. All you know logically is he wants.
Well, I actually don't know anything because I just know what Venari told me. Now Venari's talking to him.
So what you know is he trades in super illegal goods.
Yeah.
So
if I ask him for a favor,
if you wanted something, it would probably be it would be a negotiation.
Yeah, exactly.
To get something you wanted. You wouldn't necessarily jump to you have to go in business with it. It could be, I want something that maybe I'm not supposed to have, but this guy's dealing in way worse shit than that.
Yeah.
So I could probably get that from him for something.
Yeah.
If I wanted.
From Emmaus' standpoint, it's information that's out there that he wants, and he kind of wants to get that. So I don't know the discussions that were going on between Venari and Egon right now. If Venari is a bit hesitant, then I'm going to I'll make a shirt pocket note to then follow back up around, and maybe I'll do some rolls in thinking if I want to go off on my own outside of Venari to do that.
But yeah,
Okay.
I just wanted to let you know,
Yeah.
like you would
Yeah.
not jump necessarily to like it's a big deal because Harvest Mother's notes versus literal serum that hides psychers from black ships is like it's kind of like heresy and super fucking heresy. Like the heresiest of heresy is hiding psychers from the Emperor is like real bad. So you're like, well, how bad could just that little bit of information be? Like, if I wanted to read her notes about a demon, is it really that big of a deal? The answer's probably no compared to black serum that has literally been, as far as you understand, hiding psychers for
hundreds of
decades, centuries, and you don't even know what those are for. So there's a whole fucking like nut to crack of what even that could mean. But the answer is it could be it could be like holy fuck balls, that's real bad. So the opportunity for that to be bad is like infinite.
So I guess Emmaus was just looking at them drinking, saying, well, if they're a bit 3 sheets of the wind, let me see if I can get some kind of
like maybe I should just try, like, why don't I just see if I can fucking get that? Because like
exactly.
He's fucking drunk. He doesn't know. He's just gonna be like, yeah, I can get him. Yeah. But you do believe he would have access.
Okay.
Even Venari would know he would have access if he wanted.
So Venari just says, no, that's stupid. Don't be. So I'll take that as a side note out of character.
All right. Since Jesse's here, what's Kynnoch doing all this time?
Yeah.
Partying.
Yeah.
Having power.
A party animal.
Power.
Well, so we're now that we're on the subject of this vial and this element.
Oh God.
Where would this be right now?
It's probably on Venari's person.
I assume,
and you don't know anything about it.
I would have assumed it's always been on Venari since it came into its possession.
So in that case, I knew. So Kynnoch obviously knows about the stuff. Like he discovered it.
You detected,
yeah. I detected. Yes. I was there when we discovered it.
Yep.
What has happened to that discovery since? Like, was that cleaned up? When was it cleaned up?
What do you mean cleaned up?
So it was applied to a surface, right? It's kind of like a goo.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah. It was sprayed on some of the crates of grain.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So is there a potential for scraping and or collecting some of that?
Give me a luck check. Just a straight up percentile.
To make sure I'm not
unprepared.
Missing something.
Bother taking my dice out yet.
I know you're like, Neil never makes this roll. It's like an airplane. Neil never makes this roll at home.
So have we told Kynnoch about this? I can't remember. So I know Venari and I.
He detected that it
that's right.
existed, but he does not know, as far as I know, that it's a traded commodity.
Okay.
No, I don't know that.
Okay, gotcha.
No, I know of it and the potential of it, but I do not know exactly what it does. So straight up luck roll. What am I rolling against?
50-50.
50-50?
Yeah.
That is a 67.
They burned all of the crates before you had a chance.
Can I fake point?
If you want to reroll, you
hell yeah, I do.
Spend it. It's not a burn. It's just a spend, and you'll get it back. But you can reroll.
Spend. That is
99.
99. Never mind.
Not only did they burn it and buried it.
They burned it and then buried the ashes.
Yeah, the ashes were burned separately and then also buried.
So he's not interested in this at all. And so I'm assuming
but
like
I will say,
okay.
okay, but here's the interesting part. You couldn't get a sample.
Yes.
But you are still a psychic being.
I am.
And your captain is holding a literal
black hole
of psychic energy. So you do feel an emptiness of energy around Venari.
So all right, so how about Kynnoch?
But you don't without anything else, but you do feel a constant, even if like you could use senescence 1,000 times in a row and you detect nothing.
Right. Which is weird.
As in like no warp soul present.
There's like, so it's almost like it's like background radiation. Like there's always a tiny bit of radiation everywhere.
Yep.
And if it's zero, then either something's really weird or your equipment has broken.
Yes. So either you're somehow no longer at all psychic, or there's a zero energy around him for some reason.
All right.
He's magical.
So So I assume this is how the everything plays out. Party's going on. Kynnoch could give two shits. He decides everybody is at this party. I'm gonna go check everything else out.
Yep.
Realizes that they've like burned and
Everything's
buried
been gotten rid of. Yeah.
And so you're like, fuck it, might as well go back. And obviously what he will do when he first runs, because he's very interested about the people on this planet now, like puts the feelers out there to see how many psychers and everything are in the area, in the party. And that's when he'll realize that there's this little black hole coming from his captain.
And he doesn't know if it's like just Venari.
I mean, it could, give me a senescence check.
Sure.
We're rolling so many dice tonight.
I know.
Let's see. That is a 47 against. Let's see. I have. Where's my senescence? 47 against 58.
As far as you can tell, and in the crowd of revelers, the only negative presence is Venari.
Your captain.
And you can specifically pinpoint, like he's like a black hole of psychic energy. Yeah. That's weird.
I can tell, like, left pocket.
You can't tell that much, but it's definitely on him. And it definitely, I would say at that point, it feels like that substance, like that, like shadow of the warp.
So because since I made the roll anyway, is there any other psychic forces in the end?
There are no other psychers.
No psychers? Weird.
Like there's no other negatives. There's
no normies.
Psychers.
All normies.
All normies.
All normies.
No psychers whatsoever.
Weird.
Which wouldn't be weird if black ships regularly came to this planet, but they haven't been there for hundreds of years, and there are no psychers in thousands of people.
Right. Plus, I know that there are psychers here. I've met at least 2 of them.
Oh, I forgot about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
sanctioned
cool if they're not
ones.
Yeah.
You would detect a handful of psychers you would
All right.
detect that are in Imperial garb.
All right, yeah.
Like,
And I've met
sorry,
them
I
already.
forgot about
Yeah.
the fact that
Yeah.
there were actual sanctioned psychers by
Yeah.
Roderick. You
Right.
recognize Roderick psychers,
Yes.
but there aren't others.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I'll just kind of saddle
Still
up.
maybe
next to mine.
weird to not have any level of activity
Right.
outside of like the ones he knows.
Mhm.
Seems weird.
Even like latent ability that people
Yeah.
might know that they're psychers.
Yeah, like level 1 ability, like they have a tiny bit of power.
It's like walking into a garden that you hadn't weeded in a month and there's no weeds.
Yeah. And you're like,
That's
that's weird.
Yeah.
Like even there's not even like a little bit of dandelion or something. Like that's weird.
Yeah.
So it's definitely weird. It's definitely empty.
Okay.
Other than the sanctioned psychers from Roderick.
All right. I'll saddle up next to Venari, but not say anything. I'm just gonna kind of hang out a little bit.
Okay.
Stare at him every once in a while.
It's somewhat unpleasant to you. It's unsettling. Like that feeling you get, like almost like you're being watched, or
I'm used to that.
Like you just feel unsettled in general, being that close to. It's almost as if you were near. I don't remember the name of them. There's a term. You can take the talent. It's essentially people with no soul.
Is it dark? Is Dark Soul? Is that it?
Where is that?
Gingers?
I need that.
Nah. I'd have to. I'd have to look at. Anyway, there's a psychic. Basically, like they have no psychic presence whatsoever, but it makes psychers very uncomfortable.
So when I see Kynnoch kind of sidle up and give Venari like the side eye, I'll just cut the microbead and just say, "Oh shit," and just turn it off, because I'm figuring we were having our discussions about Egon, and then all of a sudden Kynnoch just strolled over. So I'll hurry up and cut the communication and just like make some kind of exclamation, because I see Kynnoch looking at him a bit weird.
And Venari's confused. Like you just drop out, and he's like, "What the fucking,"
Exactly.
you know. And then he turns and he sees Kynnoch just kind of standing there, and he like turns and looks again, and he's just kind of like. I mean, he's glad you're there as part of the crew because we're kind of making a show and it's like a whole thing, but then you're like uncomfortably close and you're not saying anything.
Yeah.
In Burden, it's your space bubble.
Haven't said a word, didn't greet you, have not talked to anybody, just walked into the room, paused for like 2 seconds, then beeline to you, and I'm just standing there.
Oh,
and
no.
like when you move,
is like
when you move, I move.
I turn to look and you like turn away.
Yeah. Huh?
I can only find the word blanks, but it's not blanks. There's another word for it. Anyway, yes, but you feel that negative energy. It's uncomfortable to a psyker. Or unsettling.
Well, to be fair, Venari's unsettled now as well. So okay, I thought it was funny. All right, forget it.
What? What? What?
You said he's unsettled because Kynnoch is standing next to
I
Venari.
know, but it
Venari's
wasn't like a
unsettled.
pun or anything. You're just like,
All right,
I'm
whatever.
unsettled too. What do you want to do? Fucking like burst out laughing and roll on the floor? Come on, man. Like I was like, all right, I get it. That's a legitimate response. Come on.
They're blanks.
Now,
Is that
now
what you said,
what do
Neil?
we do? Let's get some action. Action, guys.
I want to kill stuff.
I'm gonna get yelled at for being loud.
Don't be loud. Don't drink rock stars before we play anymore. You're like way up here.
I haven't had any rock stars. All I had was sales and a new CPU. That's all I got. Although for some reason my fucking Windows says activate Windows, and I'm like, motherfucker, I activated Windows.
That's because you're using Windows. It's good.
There it is.
We did
it! We got him! We got him, guys! All right, podcast out. That was it. We just wanted to get you to admit you're a Linux guy. Now we're out. You've been busted.
All right, so add a character.
Sure.
Because like we haven't done this 8 times already when we weren't on the show. I don't know what Venari's best plan is as far as Egon goes. Like if he's gonna pay him to be quiet, like that's easy money then. Like I don't have anything in mind to be like, oh well, okay, what goods could he give me that would be like, I guess he's intimating like artifacts or like Xenos things, which he's intrigued with, but there's Jarnan, so that's not really a functional like, yeah, cool, like an Eldar sword might be cool, but then like, oh, there's Jarnan. Like where did that come from? Don't worry about it.
I mean, okay, so just not saying anything can get you some benefit, right? Just not ratting him out because you're a rogue trader, you can do whatever you want. He could theoretically send the rogue trader he's working with to just kill you so you don't know anything. Blah blah blah. That's a lot of hassle. Or if you're like, I want a few vials of this stuff every here and there or whatever for whatever nefarious plan I have, that's fine. He's like, I could probably slide you some stuff to keep your mouth shut. Or in some case, like, in the other case, it's like, maybe you want those books or diaries. Like, sure, I can make copies of those. Probably not going to send you to like, you're not going to get the originals, but I can send you the copies of data slates and we all go on our happy way and everyone's great, right? But you're not actively trading in large quantities of anti-psyker goo, right? And so and you're also not like fucking around with it or the supply or whatever. You're just like, I'll take a little bit here and there if I need it, and you could use it. It's an awesome weapon against psychic opponents. You fucking put it on a dart or whatever, and bing, bang, boom, you've, stopped a psyker from being psychic or, whatever. Or you get information, or you get a little bit of it at a time, and you can always have a little bit of a supply of, 1 or 2 uses of it per whatever. For not saying anything. That's just for just like being cool, bro. But you also, if you really wanted, could potentially cut in on dealing in it in a larger scale, which would require significant risk, because in that case you're actually actively trafficking, like you can do whatever you want probably in the Coronis Expanse, probably, but you have to be pretty careful for anti-psyker goo, like goo that obscures psychic people from the Empire is like, I mean, you might as well just be like you might as well show up on Earth like fucking an Eldar and being like, I love this Eldar, we're gonna have human Eldar babies and I'm going to hug them and squeeze them and kiss them and love them for all of time, and they're the most beautiful thing of all time. And like it's like the most heresy. Or like I'm literally going to go be Tau, and I'm going to join the collective because you are all wrong, and humanity is wrong, and the Tau are right, and we should all be one peaceful consciousness, all together as super cool android guys. And like that's like the level of craziness of like I have tons of goo that will obscure psychers from the black ships. Like that's like an insanely but profitable as fuck, you're pretty sure. Now the question is, you have yet to find out what they're using that for, at least here. But you could think of like a million ways that's like worth a fuck ton of money. Right. So the question is like, you could have a little bit of contraband. Like you could be like, hey man, I got this little vial of cocaine. Like, just don't like throw me in jail forever. Or Pablo Escobar. Like, you're between like, hey man, I'm like selling a few hits of coke to like, I make all of the cocaine in the world. And so like, that's kind of the decision between like, if you just keep it quiet, it's like, yeah, I'll give you a fucking 8-ball here and there. Who cares? Right?
Here's
like,
a bump.
Whatever, man.
Yeah.
Like, here's a bump. Whatever. You want an 8-ball? Just don't fucking rat me out. And granted, that's not how the underworld really works. They try to kill you, but the difference is like, for some reason, another drug dealer who deals in heroin really likes cocaine instead. So it's like, okay, I'll give you some cocaine if you don't rat me out on the fucking, you don't rat me out on the cocaine. I know you deal heroin, whatever you do, you just don't fuck with me. And we don't fuck with each other. And I'll give you some cocaine. I'll give you a hit of cocaine here and there, whatever, man. Or like, hey, I'm a heroin dealer, but this guy's like, hey, I have the only supply of cocaine. Do you want in on it? You could be one of two guys dealing all the cocaine. I'm Pablo Escobar. So like, right? It's a partially an issue of scale of what you're agreeing to, and you do have some power level above him, right?
Yeah, we could just blow the planet up. I don't think anybody would be happy with that, but
you could. That'd be really tough, though. You'd get a lot of questions.
Yeah.
If you just blew the planet up. You're not like an Inquisitor, like planet destroyer level. You're not even a light cruiser, right? You're like a raider.
Hey, sometimes that happens by accident.
Look, I'm just saying, like, a heavy cruiser could definitely turn that shit to ash, but, like, I'm not sure you're in the league of, like, we ourselves. Like, you'd have to be shooting that planet for a long time.
Yeah, if I recall, we have a melta-cannon and a lancer. Like
you're gonna get at some point. You're tired. You're just like, oh, I'm bored.
Just take your 10% and shoot it.
Is this planet dead yet or not? And they're like, we're still alive. And you're like, fuck my
not
life.
Dead yet.
Why the fuck did we agree to this? And you're like, we decided, you asshole. So
by the time we're even a third of the way done, they've evacuated the entire planet.
Yeah, like at that point, you have to chase down shuttles. It's not worth it.
Right,
now, I guess it's going to be tough now based on your decisions, but in theory, if you really wanted to wipe the planet, I'll bet Jarnan could have gotten an exterminus order if very, very lucky and made a very good argument, you might have gotten exterminus order from the Inquisition, but it would have to be from the Inquisition.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't want to burn the planet. I'm just,
I'm just saying, like, you as a ship is iffy.
Yeah.
Jarnan, if he would have convinced them that it was like unsalvageable, maybe you could have gotten an exterminus order.
That's
Maybe.
still a possibility.
I think the question is not whether or not Venari wants it to happen.
I think Jarnan's pretty confident though at this point. He's really cleaned the place up.
Yeah, I really just created like we just got a temple back for the God Emperor. Sure. I'm not going to burn it to the ground.
And not just a temple, like the whole production entity of the planet. Like, you would really hate at this point. You'd really hate to see the thing go because you're pretty sure this thing is clean.
Yeah, I'm getting new robes out of this deal.
Guys, it's almost 11:30 and we have not even gotten to the next mission. I'm always wrong.
Well, that's what I said. We were still there. Like, you were like, oh, we're picking a new mission.
Stuff,
like,
but
we
you guys
haven't
want
even
to play
done.
around. You guys want to have fun with the role play. That's fine. I'm just like, shit. I thought you were going to be like, we fly off planet and we go to this place. Nope.
Right. So I think Venari would let it pass while they were there and come back to it later. Like, I think he would talk to Emma some more about it, because that seems like way beyond the pale. I mean, like you said, it's a lot of money, but like that's some serious. Like, he doesn't have time to devote to like selling fucking goo all over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think he's probably going to pass on that, but I guess we'll double back around to that at some point.
We'll put a pin in that and then have more discussions.
Yeah.
I mean, right now you have the one vial. You haven't asked for anything more, so.
No.
And you've, as far as I understand, agreed not to rat them out.
Yeah. I mean, that was understood since we were obviously discussing getting into business together.
He's not sending someone after you, like, right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
All right.
I mean, it'd be real bad if you're like, I don't know about this. I'm going to go talk to the ecclesiarchy or whatever. And he's going to be like, oh, fuck, I call a rogue trader, like, right now. I need as many ships as possible.
No, the tenor of the conversation was such that, like, yeah, let me see what I can suss out in regard to, like, putting a lead out to where I can sell.
You have, like, tenuous neutrality.
Yeah. See, my only thought then is if we don't like settle this before we leave the planet, is like, once we're gone, he's like, fuck that guy. I was gonna give him some shit, but he's not here anymore. So, like,
well, no, you're not gonna get anything if you don't show back up. He's like, if you need something, I'll give it to you, but yet, like, I'll give you whatever supply in a limited, like, small personal use, right? Like, as metagame, like, player character use of it, but like, unless you show back up, he's not shipping you shit.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Right? So, like, if you want more than that, you better bargain for it now.
Yeah. I'd probably not.
Come back, right? You got one of the two.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have an in to come back because we can always tell Jarnan, hey, you have to come check on your fiefdom and see how it's doing and check on Adalar and stuff like that. So it's not like we don't have a reason.
Or Venari's got to bone Lavinia a little more before she gets another boyfriend. It's got to get in there before she gets, like, knocked up by some fucking yokel.
Leave the little Venaris all over the
hashtag me too. You're welcome, listeners. Do we have any listeners? Is anyone watching?
Yeah, there's a handful of people in chat.
I hope it's not a lady. please, ladies, that was offensive, and I'm sorry. There we go. I'm sorry. It was meant to be a joke. And
It's low hanging fruit. You went for it.
It was. I went so lowbrow, and you know it. I know it. We're both embarrassed. I'm sorry.
So, Kevin, are you going to follow up on any of your business? Like, do we want to jump to like, hey, it's time to leave? Does anybody want to finish?
I think I'm fine where we're at now. I have to think how I'm going to spin that, but yeah, I think I wouldn't go behind your back so blatantly right after the fact. So I'm good for the moment.
Okay. I mean, do we want to talk to Roderick then before we go to get the stuff that you want, or do you want to have a conversation with Jarnan then?
So I was trying to keep it away from Jarnan.
Okay.
I was trying to loot. Yeah. So if we have the reason to come back if we want to. So if we.
Was the second Bessie? Sorry. I just got a second window of bet. I was like, oh God, who's joining?
So I'll say that the stuff we want to do, we can follow back and do that. We can prompt Jarnan to say, hey, let's go check on your stuff and come back, and then we can have that conversation. I don't want to push it now. If we've had the discussion, I don't want to completely shiv you in the back by going behind you or anything, or going to talk to Roderick. So I'm good for the moment.
Okay.
Oh God, such a loyal crew.
Well,
in every game I've been in, people would have backstabbed the fuck out of me.
Well,
They
it's
were
not
like,
even a
I'm
backstab, really.
I'm gonna get all this shit.
we spent 45 minutes talking about where the Rit's at. So
Don't worry, Kynnoch hasn't made his move yet.
yeah.
I'm gonna find out where that. I'll find out where that writ is, and then you guys can roll for it.
And how far
Don't worry.
So I guess before they finally take off, then I guess Venari follows up with Egon then and just lets him know that his secret is safe, and if he wants to hit me with a little bump up, every now and again as we have business in the sector, that he will come a calling then.
Yeah, he agrees. It's up to you to initiate. There's only a limited supply, obviously, a personal amount, quote unquote. But if you need it, let him know.
Okay. Done and done.
Alrighty.
Then I guess we bail off the planet if nobody wants to follow up on any other stuff then. Oh, how much grain are we talking about, and does it fit on the ship?
Oh,
and
yeah.
how much of it is good?
Oh, it fits on the ship. I mean, how much is good? Like, it's a great question.
The most recent stuff, we knew that.
What's your tolerance limit? Any corruption? Are you talking like any amount of corruption? Are you talking like no corruption only is what's going to make it through? Or you'll be like, a little bit of corruption's okay?
I mean, just for the record, Jarnan can't actually detect corruption like that.
I was going to ask if
Just
we can.
I think only Kynnoch could actually detect it.
Right?
Just
Who are
putting
they?
that out
Who are
there.
they asking? So are they asking? Is Venari asking me? And what is he asking?
All right, so in a general
I don't know.
sense,
I'm saying Venari is making the decision of what
Exactly,
to avoid.
yeah.
All of it makes it on the ship. Easy.
okay, so it all fits. Great.
It all fits.
So we
But
know that the newest
question is-
stuff was either clean
Yeah.
or maybe only very
Pretty
lightly
clean. I mean, it was
corrupted.
clean. Let's say that, like, the latest year's harvest, clean.
Okay.
The next year, Hold on.
Even you're rolling dice. It's crazy.
The next year is like 20% corrupted comparatively.
Right.
Right. And then it goes in about 15% after that. Boop, 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 until 100%.
Okay. So I guess, they're loading while the festival's going on and we're doing other shit. People are just, packing
at
the
the
grain.
far back of the ship.
Yeah, so the most tainted stuff is the stuff that can be jettisoned the easiest.
Like if you wanted the 100% stuff, after what is that? 25 then
20.
Anything like 7 years? 7 years? Am I stupid?
No, 7 years hits 100.
7.
Yeah.
7
Anything 7 years and older, fucking gone. Like
Okay.
you burned that, or you can void it, whatever. Then you have a decision incrementally down. Ultimately, you weren't really charged with bringing anything back as much as you were making sure the colony was, like willing and able to produce for the empire. So it's up to you what you want to dump.
Yeah, I mean, Venari's thought was, not only there we're here to check on the planet, and we're gonna reopen communications, and blah blah blah. But they have all this grain. They're like, oh my god, nobody's come. We have all this grain. We're trying to do our duty, sort of whatever. So we're like, fine, we'll take it. Fresh slate. Lines of communication are open again. Everything is great. We had the festival, so we're gonna clean house. And then the stuff that's tainted 100% obviously gets jettisoned out, or if it can be burned on the ship or whatever.
You avoid it.
Yeah. And then the conversation with Kynnoch then is, all right. So obviously the fully contaminated grain, out. That's voided. I assume that any taint is bad taint as far as the warp goes. We don't want to feed this. I mean, they can't have expected that, they would have saved 100 years worth of grain. I mean, it should have spoiled. The only reason it didn't spoil is probably because it was corrupted.
Well, technologies nowadays, I mean, we barely have to worry about food going bad now. I mean, just because they've been
technically it was made into like ration bars.
Right.
Just really tainted ration bars. So 100%. So they might have had 300-400 years worth, but after 7 years, that shit's all if you eat it, you're getting probably 2-3d10 corruption. You're fucked, right? You're not doing well. So yeah, so you have 7 years to work with, basically, of preserved grain rations, as opposed to corpse rations made from people's bones and bodies. So it's better than that. It's not better than that.
So
it's correct.
Yeah. So I'll explain. If we're digging deep into the stocks, that it's not good. More than likely, the people will be completely overcome by the warp, and they will be consumed. After that, it's a little progressively better. I can definitely see now, depending on what your plans are for this, and he'll kind of lean in to Venari and say, exactly how much of this are you planning on giving back to the Imperium?
Well, that's where your expertise comes into play. I believe that, of course, any taint is fuck, god damn it, to edit all this out. That any taint would be an affront to the God Emperor. Of course, we must only provide the most pure grain stuffs to feed the people.
Exactly. The grain that we return to the Imperium, I agree, should be pure. However, they are not necessarily expecting. We were simply there to check up on this planet. Perhaps if we, and I know, driven by financial means, that perhaps if we were to take some of this grain and dole it off on a planet or a station of some sort, that I believe that the risk reward is very negligible in this aspect.
Do you have any particular place in mind?
I do not. I simply am attempting to have you get something out of this trip. I know that we've gone through some hard times over the last several days, and I do not want this to be wasted. So I think that if we simply gather up some of the grain and the stuff untainted rations, we can pass off to the ecclesiarchy, and they can do it what they want. They can check it out and be on their way, and then what we take, the rest we can sell off. And I think that you can get something out of it at that point.
Well, I assume at this point you are having this conversation when Jarnan is specifically not around.
Yeah.
For sure.
I just wanted to double check.
Yeah.
Like, no chance of overhearing. Yeah.
Hey,
is your comm off? Shit. Make sure your comm is off.
Yeah.
Fuck, how do these things work?
Mute! Yeah.
I can tell you that there is a significant amount of grain that I believe we would be able to pass off with fairly limited, or rather, I believe the odds would be in our favor that more than likely nothing would come of it.
I like the way you think, Kynnoch. We'll need to find an appropriate place to sell the grain. Nothing too close to the roost.
Indeed, I think you have plenty of contacts and ears to the ground in terms of that aspect.
Indeed. All right,
yeah, I'll walk him through the greenhouse, and I'll kind of point out. I'll say, okay, so like you said, like about the year or so mark is like pretty clean. Is clean. Yeah, I'll be like, this is the thing. This is what we can give to the.
So what is your margin there? So you have.
I will tell. So
1 year is like nothing, right? And then the second year is like 25%, and then there's like 40, and then there's 55, and then there's 70, and then there's 85, and then there's 100. Anything past 100, gone.
Yeah.
So you have 85 in 15 increments down to 25 and down.
Yeah.
What would be your cutoff of what you suggest you sell?
That is what I am going to ask Venari. I was like, so what risk are you willing to take?
Wow, you're really selling. What do you want to do? I think we should sell this. How bad do you think it should be? Sort of bad or real bad? Which one?
So when you use your abilities to see into the warp, how noticeable is the taint on the grain at the lower levels? At which point does it become so obvious that the grain is tainted?
I'll walk him back a little bit, and I'll say for the first few years, it's fairly negligible. You might have, if 100 people eat this, 1 or 2 of them might get tainted.
You're just spitballing.
Yeah, and then I'll progressively go back.
Out of 100, maybe like 1 or 2 get like.
I'll go back to the point. Yeah, I'll go back to the point. I'll go at about 6 years back. We might hit the 50-50 point.
Well, then I believe that was where our cutoff will be. There is still plenty of rations here to sell. I'm sure we could make a fair amount of thrones on this.
Okay. Yeah,
so I'm assuming
anything after that. I believe if we really wanted to push our luck, we could easily go back 12 to 15 years. But depending on how far back you want to go, if you some Hoboken side planet or tiny little station off to the side, 12, 13-year-old grain, we could easily just pass off to them and then let it be.
There's no reason to push our luck too far.
Excellent choice.
Indeed.
So I would say 6 years, good 50-50 cutoff. At that point, we could easily, any malignancies or maledictions that pop up, we could pass off on some odd, odd manifestation of the warp popping up here and there. We'd be completely fine.
All right, that sounds like a plan. Make sure that the crates are marked accordingly so that everybody knows where everything should be, and we'll look to sell this when we get back.
I'm assuming we have like a ship. I have speak language as a ship dialect. I'm assuming that pertains to like the Heretic's Bane specifically. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll mark it in that. So I'll come up with like a system and mark it in the ship dialect.
So just to be sure, 6 years.
I know
is like 85% tainted, right?
I know.
Okay, just double check. I wanted to make sure the math that you understood the math as well as I did.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Well, Venari trusts Kynnoch because he can't see the shit, so he's like,
you don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah. I just wanted to double check that we were doing the same math.
Yes,
gotcha. We are. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you're allowed to do that. No one. I mean, I wasn't even going to mention that you have ways that if you really wanted, you could hide warp signatures. So
there's not enough, though. I mean,
not unless you ask. But if you were willing to trade, I mean, it's probably not worth.
Kynnoch's thought is that he does not want any of the tainted stuff getting back to the ecclesiarchy.
Because
they will, and I don't want it to be near them.
Yeah.
Because if they,
it would be the administratum that takes it in,
would,
or the there's a mercantile. There's like a merchant's whatever. But you can definitely send the 100% pure stuff to them. And if you deal with anyone else that's more podunk, that's their deal, right?
Exactly.
They may be significantly less sophisticated.
Yeah. So I don't want to totally damn anybody completely. I want to give them a slight chance.
Sure. So if we're walking around the ship, do we hear the machine spirits screaming in our ears whenever we walk near the storage area?
No, they're fine. Machine spirits are fine.
All right, cool. I guess after all that stuff's done, I guess we leave.
All right.
And I guess they'll separate that. So, like when we get to Footfall or Port Wander, I guess we're going back to Port Wander.
Yeah, where are you gonna go? That's the other thing. Well, are you gonna go to Footfall, Port Wander?
Where did we receive the mission from? I believe it was Port Wanderer, right? Because we were talking to the ecclesiarchy and the administratum?
Yeah, it would have been Port Wonder at that point.
Okay, so we were probably heading back to there then.
All right.
Because that's not an outpost, like that's main.
Yeah, that's
central. So
that's
since we have the
collective
grain,
sector, so that's like a jump past Coronis Expanse. So Footfall is like at the Coronis Expanse. So Port Wonder is the main Imperial. That's like where Imperial law happens versus Footfall, right? So
he's not. That's not where he's most comfortable. But since we have the grain and all, we want to make sure that's delivered. I'm assuming as big as the ship is, that after the completely tainted stuff gets jettisoned, they're able to shift that stuff around. So the stuff that they're going to keep is like behind shit, so like nobody sees it when it's being unloaded.
Yeah,
like
you're kilometers. I mean, that ship is, geez, even Raiders I think are like 2 kilometers long. So like you're basically a city. You can shift it around.
Okay,
no one will know the difference.
Yep.
Put a big tarp over it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like different holds. So all the really bad shit was in one hold that just got like.
I mean, you can bury it in the middle of the ship, or you know, there. Yeah. No one will see that if you don't want them to.
No, we don't.
Sure.
Okay. So so we head back to there.
Okay. I don't know if you want to like role play it, but you talk to the administratum. They give you accommodation for making connection with Valentine. They accept the year's worth of grain rations. They are disappointed that there isn't more. They felt like more should have been held.
Venari comes up with some sort of an excuse because they were cut off from the storms, that they had to subsist on some of the rations that were supposed to be provided. They lost hope after the first 50 years and nobody showed up, and they thought they were on their own, so they kind of like were doing their thing. But
they agree that they were extremely selfish and nearsighted in their responsibility to the Imperium, and so they shall be punished for not having more stocks in supply, even though they had not been reached for many years. They should have had many more seasons of harvest as tribute. So they will be punished accordingly, and we appreciate your honesty for letting us know that it was their incompetence and misjudgment that cheated the Empire of its due tribute. So they give you some extra. They give you extra thrones for that, for your assistance. Yep.
So did we? So like out of character, then did we agree? Because clearly Jarnan was going to tell the ecclesiarchy that he burned a demon and shit. So like, is that something that we tell the administratum that's why there's not as?
Yeah, it was actually.
I don't know. Are you telling the ecclesiarchy there was tainted grain, or
well,
you
I
like?
Was, so, yeah,
you
so
could
I was actually
say like
ask.
there's a tainted, like there's a person that was working with the demon, but if you're saying like the grain is tainted, that's a whole other thing. So what are you telling who?
Yeah, I was gonna.
The administratum accepts the actual shipment. The ecclesiarchy may have something to say about it, but yeah.
How many of us are there at this meet? Like, are we all there? Or is this like something that Venari went off and did?
You're all there.
Yeah, I assume that's like a crew thing. So like,
I'd say you're all there.
All right, yeah. So when they ask and Jarnan starts, Venari starts spinning the tale of like why, like Kynnoch was about to open his mouth and say like, well, warp taint. But then like Venari starts talking, he just like closes his mouth and gives him like that raised eyebrow look, like, okay, all right, this is where we're going with this. All right.
I mean, so I feel like they would have had the conversation beforehand, right? Because like he doesn't want them to be. I mean, not that he cares a rogue trader, I guess. But
Okay,
like he's
here's
got,
the question.
Like,
well, if you said they ate it and they didn't hold it, do you have like, okay, what about common lore like Imperium? Because the answer is the Imperium's a bunch of fucking assholes. And they don't care. The answer is we're literally the Nazis. And did you do exactly what the rule was? Right, and if the answer is no, punish. Like,
all right, so let's
so regardless of what you say, unless you have a reason for them to be short, they will still punish the planet. Now, you don't know what the punishment is. Maybe it's just like less whatever luxury goods, or maybe they murder 10% of the population. You don't know. It's the Imperium.
Fair. We've seen Jarnan's punishment.
So
I already murdered.
It goes from 10%. Like, you know, it goes from like bad to like Holocaust pretty quickly with the Imperium.
I can imagine if so option A, if we tell them the truth, I can imagine like the contact just being really upset, but then Jarnan speaking up and being like, according to paragraph 5, section 18 of rule 37.4, I have already eliminated 10% of the population according to the jurisdiction rules. And they're like, oh.
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, Jarnan could definitely speak up and be like, that shit ain't a problem anymore. And it could work. Yeah, sure. The question is, it doesn't necessarily matter on the tributes. The question is, what is your argument on the tribute, knowing that the Imperium does not care about external circumstances. They only care about, did it get done or didn't it?
All right.
And so unless you have a reason that there's only one season's worth of grain, they're like, what the fuck?
All right. So let's retcon then. So
sure.
We get to Port Wonder. We come in. So what are we? So Venari, we're sitting on the bridge, and Venari's like, all right. So we've got a year's worth. Jarnan, are we going to tell them exactly what happened?
First off, who is them?
Well, of course, the Administratum will
I don't give a shit what you tell them.
Okay. Is this something that we want to keep close to the vest, or is this something that is going to be more common knowledge?
From my dealings with the Administratum, they don't give a shit what our reasons are. The Ecclesiarchy will care what our reasons are. To them, I will not lie.
Well, of course, I leave that in your capable hands.
To the Administratum, I don't care what you tell them.
Well, anyone else have a thought?
I mean, where are we going to get more in trouble from? Yeah. So do we fear the Administratum more than we do the Ecclesiarchy, or do we think the Ecclesiarchy will be covered because our friend Jarnan will take care of that? Do we need to, with the Administratum, what do we need to do to cover ourselves? I think is what I'm really concerned about.
Well, I don't believe we have anything to worry about on our own. We've more than fully accomplished the mission there. I don't wish to damage any contacts that we've made.
So do we tell them that we reestablished contact, this is the grain offering, and we ran into a bit of trouble in the warp, and some of it slipped out the back when we were trying to get through the warp? Or do we tell them, we just dumped it out because it was shitty? I guess is what I'm asking.
The tailgate fell open and it all fell out.
Exactly. We hit a bump.
Hit a bump.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we could literally tell the Administratum that the older stuff was bad. So
bad.
we dumped it.
Yeah.
Their storage systems were out of date and malfunctioning.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't tell them it's tainted, I don't think, Captain. I don't think we go with that, because if we do, and they decide to take action against the planet, then Roderick and Egon and Abelard are no longer on our side because they've been melted from, some decision.
If we tell them that their facilities were subpar, when they go to collect, the subsequent things of grain and they go and do their inspections, they'll see that that is not the case. And then that looks poorly on us.
Yeah. Also, are the Administratum and the Ecclesiarchy going to share notes?
No.
No.
I mean, quite possibly not. And the Ecclesiarchy will understand that I have taken care of the situation.
Unless, unless someone of you made a case for one of them to share notes with the other one. I don't, for instance, theoretically, if you had the Ecclesiarchy on your side, perhaps they could argue your case for punishment already being rendered or whatever. Or if you want to go to the I don't know how you would use the Administratum, because I don't think you really have a case for the Administratum against the Ecclesiarchy, but theoretically, perhaps the Ecclesiarchy would argue in your favor that you've already done what is in the best interest of the Imperium, but that would obviously require some convincing.
All right. I believe that we should let the Administratum know exactly what had happened and that the grain was tainted, and we had to take extreme measures to protect the citizenry of the Imperium. And if they have any questions, that they can discuss it with the Grand Ambassador at the head temple of the Ecclesiarchy, as we will be going there next to give our report.
We may want to go to the Ecclesiarchy first, then, so that they actually know what the hell is going on when the Administratum come talk to them.
As always, you have sound judgment, Jarnan.
Unlike some.
Kind of like he looks over his shoulder at Kynnoch.
That's what I figured.
I mean, you did eat burnt demon flesh. I mean,
I did. Delicious.
With some fava beans.
So then when we land, they don't call for anybody to unload anything. They just button up the ship. I
can even imagine Venari getting off, the harbor master coming up to you, and you're closing up, and you're like, "Don't touch this."
Yeah. He cancels shore leave until this is sorted. Yeah, we'll be back. Make sure all shit is ship shape. Scrub the floors. Do whatever you got to do until I come back to be busy.
All right.
Hurry up and drink that vial so no one can get you in trouble.
So I guess we head over to the temple. Was that Carnot stand? Is that the guy that I fucking hate?
Great question. It is. Yep.
I mean, he loves Jarnan, so I guess it's whatever.
That's the one you sent. I don't remember what it was, but I have the note of that you sent him an insulting gift.
I did.
I don't remember what it was.
Well, that's a while ago. It's fine.
You guys, go back, listen. 100 episodes. I don't know, however many it was.
Wasn't it some shitty Amasek or something?
Yeah, you sent him something that was what the fuck? What a garbage gift. That he would know on purpose that you didn't like him.
Yeah. Well, there was clearly no love lost there already anyway.
Yeah. The question is, do we want to stop there otherwise we're going to end up wrapped up in Ecclesiarchy, then talking the Administratum. Or do you want to wait and we'll do Ecclesiarchy next time and then go to Administratum? And then missions.
I mean, it's later for you guys. I mean, I know it's like after 12, so if you want to wrap it up here, I may just drop this as one episode.
Yeah.
Since we haven't actually really done anything.
I thought you guys did a lot. I rolled dice twice. Guys, twice.
We rolled dice. We never rolled dice.
Like, you guys rolled dice.
I think Neil has rolled dice twice this entire campaign.
I know, and you guys got it rolled twice, and it didn't necessarily go well for you.
I mean, par for the course.
You should have been using Tandy's roller. It would have been so much better.
I know, but instead, I got this easy roller dice. This dice says, "Fuck you, players. I win." That's why you should buy it, and then if you all buy it, we get another sponsorship in your face. Yeah. Yeah, I should probably go to bed since I have to do a million things. It's all your fault it's all Vince's fault actually.
Kinda.
And
ultimately it's your fault because you agreed to it.
Ultimately it's my fault also because it's really more the restaurant that I'm roasting for now that's oh god, so many pounds of coffee. So it's going fast. But I thought we got some interesting gaming, although we got to 0 of the mission.
I don't know why you're surprised.
I don't know why we didn't get to, and I thought you were immediately going to go we go to Footfall or Port Wonder and we're done. But instead, you had a lot of cool stuff happen at the party. So who knew? I will add some probably more missions or something because I think you're disregarding a few of them, but I could come up with a few more. I have some really fun ones and some other ones that you're like, we're not going to deal with that right now.
We need a mission wiki so we can keep everything straight. Be like Venari's data slate.
Who listening wants to do that? It's right. Not me making it because my ass has 4 jobs now. And it's not cool, guys. I've got a day job and 1 company and 2 podcasts, multiple podcasts for each of those podcasts.
And then a super secret project.
And then a super secret project. Oh, the super secret. It's not working out. Fucking artists are unreliable, guys.
They can
so
be.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
I need drawers. Someone needs to draw and just keep drawing the same thing, but different people. That's what I need. It's so hard. I thought we had such a good person. So sad.
Oh, well.
Oh, maybe I can get her back. Maybe I can beg. Maybe I can get shredded and be like, I'll give you shirtless photos of me. If you draw those pictures and money and abs
and extra coffee, you can roast some more.
Yeah, if I didn't think about bribing her with coffee. Maybe I send her money and coffee so that her energy is high enough to draw.
You could just send her coffee. The coffee's good enough on its own.
Yeah, I'll definitely tell you, if you want really good art out of somebody, get them totally caffeinated up so that they got the jitters.
That's what I should do. I should get her so she can't sleep.
Yeah. He wants some abstract shit where he's just like, blah, blah, blah.
But she's like in the UK. She's probably like, I only drink tea. Right, Kevin?
I'll hook you up then. Yeah, I'll send some over.
I was waiting. I don't know. I feel bad because I don't know what happened, but she had to punt. But the first character was very good, and now I need fucking 4 more, and people won't just draw like another person draws. Just draw it like that person did it, but a different person. Makes me angry.
We'll get there.
Will we, John?
I don't know. I'm trying to pump you up.
I'm trying to make a thing here. I refuse to relent and I refuse to compromise. There's only one option for this podcast. It launches exactly how I want it to launch, or Dr. Manhattan explodes me into a giant pile of blood in the Arctic snow. That is the only option. No compromise, even in the face of oblivion, guys.
That was the best time to go Robo ever.
I refuse. It's either oblivion or what I goddamn want it to be. And that means art. I need art. I'm going to get yelled at. The bedroom is right next to this room. I don't think my sound panel's absorbing enough sound. I get yelled at almost every time we play this game. But I'm telling you, we art, guys. We're making art, John. We're either here. Let me just give you one example. Let me give you one example, guys. This is live on the internet. Is anyone still listening?
I don't know. Nobody's posted in a while.
Where's Jeremy? Does Jeremy watch this one, or does he watch Fear? I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't seen him in a while.
Starjammer, I think, might also be.
Starjamming 20.
Starjamming 20. If you're listening, this is how I roll. This weekend, I spent 4 hours painting a painting that took Bob Ross 27 minutes to paint. That is not all. My wife and I painted, each trying to paint this painting. I did not paint that painting in a way that was acceptable. Here's the difference. She was not necessarily happy with hers, but she is a teacher, and she thought, I learned some things, and I like these things about this part of the painting, and I like these things, and I learned a lot. And I thought only one thing. This painting is either art or garbage. And that painting was garbage. So I literally picked it up immediately, walked to my garage, and threw it in my trash can, because that's where garbage belongs. And I walked back, and she asked me where my painting went, and I said, in the garbage where it belongs, because there's only 2 options, art or garbage, and it was the latter. So when I release a podcast, it is either art or garbage, and if it's garbage, it goes in a trash can where garbage belongs. And if it's art, it's released like this podcast every time, which is a goddamn godsend to every role-playing fan in the internet. You're welcome, and I love you, and you're welcome for the art. And you are also welcome for not the garbage. And that's all I have to say. And if we can't make art, it's garbage, John. And I will throw all that money in a toilet. And I will take that toilet and I'll throw it in the garbage. That's where garbage belongs. And I don't care how much it costs. because garbage is garbage and art is art. And we're going to make art or else.
I never want Neil to listen to or look at anything I ever make.
It's the same thing with my coffee. It's either the best or garbage. Actually, it's never garbage because I'm pretty good at that. But
you know what? I will. On that note, I will tell you, I did not know that you did whole bean.
Oh yeah, I always do whole bean, maybe.
I didn't know because when I got it from John, it was ground.
Well, John's a fucking loser.
So I just assumed. But I just spent way too much money on what was it the death brew or whatever.
Oh fuck! Did you get Death Wish?
Yeah. That is not good coffee.
Okay, I don't like to talk trash.
Talk trash.
Not good. Garbage.
Not good. I think
is it Death Wish? They say like. First of all, here's the thing. They say it's 2 times the caffeine of any coffee, and they say without anything added, and it's only based on bean selection and roasting. That's impossible. Unless they're using maybe the most fucking garbage Robusta beans of all time, maybe you could get that. But double the caffeine of normal Arabica beans without literally adding powdered caffeine, I say, show me the data, sir. I want to see the analysis because I think you're fucking garbage and I think you're lying. And my coffee tastes 1,000 times better. And the caffeine, go fuck yourself. Just drink a second cup because it's that good. And don't buy that shit. Buy 2 bags of mine and actually drink something that doesn't make you want to shit your pants.
Right. So when I grind my beans, I was buying before like the Vermont organic stuff.
Yeah.
And 2 scoops of beans. With them, I have to use at least 3 just to get any amount of taste and caffeine level.
That's terrible. Yeah.
And it's horrible. And so I spent like an extra $12 per pound. And I have to use more of it, and it's pointless.
Oh, Death Wish.
Wish. So I will. From now on,
let me put it this way.
Yeah.
First of all, you shouldn't be taking scoops. You should be weighing that in grams. And you should weigh the water that you're using. But if you're not going to do that, like a coffee aficionado, do what you got to do. I'm just saying that cannot possibly be true that it has more caffeine without adding caffeine literally to it. And I mean, it could have more caffeine, but not the amount that they say. And I want to see evidence of it. I don't see any evidence of it. And mine doesn't taste like trash. So order our coffee. If you want the Legends of Tabletop brew, you can order that. John will put a link. And it's a nice medium roast. And it tastes delicious. Or the Night Owl, the most popular of birds of a feather coffee company, birdscoffeecompany.com. Night Owl roast, super delish, never bitter, always smooth, super potent. It's a delicious cup of coffee, and we have others. And the most fun right now, Aluba Bordabi. That's right. The dry process's name is Aluba Bordabi. It sounds fun, and you should enjoy it for the funness and for the name and for the deliciousness. It tastes like blueberry and chocolate. It's delicious.
Anywho, order that.
Our coffee is way better than any of that garbage, and maybe we'll be on Amazon soon because I have all that worked out. I just haven't signed all this stuff up. But buy good coffee. We sell whole bean. You could get ground if you want ground, but get whole bean if you have a grinder.
And then doing it all wrong all this time.
You have been.
Yeah, John's like, oh, I don't want to buy a grinder. Oh, look at me. I want Neil to grind it for me. I want
I
him
gotta
to
get my
do
money's
all the
worth.
work. I want him to do all the work for me, and so I can just scoop it.
I'm gonna have to start weighing it now. I'm gonna have to find
You
a good
gotta
formula.
you gotta weigh the beans and the water. And on our website, I literally have ratios, and people are confused. It says like 1 to 18. That means 1 part coffee, 18 parts water. So if you have 1 gram of coffee, you'd have 18 grams of water. You weigh it, weigh everything. Always weigh everything in coffee, because coffee is a science, guys.
AWE.
It's a science. And it's delicious. And I proudly roast every single fucking batch myself. I'm standing there watching that roasting curve, smelling that coffee, looking at it, checking the goddamn little trier. It's called a trier. That's kind of a not technical sounding term. I look at all of it, guys. This guy. I have yelled at you for 20 minutes about quality.
Yeah.
If you don't think that's good coffee, if you don't think I'm not here about quality, you've got another goddamn thing coming.
Now I don't know if I like leave all this in or cut all
Are you
this
gonna
in.
leave this in? Because I don't know. Because I'm on a roll.
2 things. One, I think we've put Bessie to sleep at least twice with
He
coffee
is
talk.
definitely asleep. Yeah, he's asleep.
And
Now I'm
2,
awake.
and 2, you have totally beat Leo Laporte for the longest and most circuitous ad read ever.
But buy my coffee. There's probably a link. I rarely mentioned the actual coffee, but it's just about coffee in general, guys. Good coffee, do it. I think I might have gotten. I probably got a text from my own wife. Shut up. It's no, it was her setting the alarm, which means if I don't stop yelling, I'm going to get a text that says shut the fuck up. I get one every time we play this. So, anywho.
All right. Well, to keep you from getting in trouble, I say we wrap this up.
Let's wrap this up, guys.
All right. I want to
Jesse,
thank everyone.
get some coffee, and it's whole bean.
Go ahead. God damn it. You guys are this is the worst show ever.
Also, Legends 10, you get 10% off. You're welcome.
And free shipping.
You're welcome, guys.
You're
welcome. That's a super secret Rogue Trader experience for you.
All right, we're out. Thanks for watching. I guess probably. I don't know.
Maybe.
You might be sorry after this one. I'm not really sure.
I lost my audio ASMR.
Good night, everybody.
I'm good. Hey, everybody. This is the Rogue Trader ASMR podcast. This is about sensuality.